At night, blood sugar behaves very differently than it does during the day. Insulin sensitivity drops, digestion slows down, and the body becomes more prone to storing glucose instead of using it. That's why many people wake up with higher blood sugar levels, even if they didn't eat much the night before. What most diabetics don't realize is that one specific food, when eaten the right way and at the right time, can help stabilize blood sugar overnight instead of making it worse. This food works with your body's nighttime physiology, not against it. It helps reduce glucose spikes after dinner, lowers overnight insulin demand, and supports steadier blood sugar levels while you sleep. And no, it's not a trendy superfood or an expensive supplement. It's something simple that most people are either avoiding or using incorrectly. In this video, I'll break down why blood sugar rises at night, how this food affects insulin and glucose differently after sunset, and the best way to use it so it actually works, without causing crashes, cravings, or morning spikes. Let's start by understanding what changes in your body once the sun goes down. At night, blood sugar behaves very differently than it does during the day. Even if you eat the same meal, the nighttime response can be higher, slower to come down, and more likely to show up the next morning as elevated fasting glucose. This isn't because your body suddenly forgets how to handle food. It's because nighttime physiology is built for rest, not for aggressive glucose disposal. A major reason is circadian rhythm. As daylight fades, the body shifts toward repair, recovery, and energy conservation. Muscles become less responsive to insulin, meaning they pull glucose out of the bloodstream more slowly. This matters because muscle tissue is one of the primary places glucose should go after eating. If muscles are less responsive, glucose stays in the bloodstream longer, raising your numbers. At the same time, the liver becomes more active in releasing glucose. The liver's job is to keep blood sugar stable, especially during fasting periods. But in insulin resistance, the liver often releases more glucose than needed, even when you already have enough circulating glucose. This creates a baseline push upward at night that makes your blood sugar easier to spike. Cortisol also plays a role. Cortisol is often thought of as a morning hormone, but in people under stress, in people who sleep late, and in many cases of insulin resistance, cortisol can remain elevated into the evening. Cortisol tells the liver to release glucose, so your blood sugar can rise even without food, and dinner carbohydrates can stack on top of that. Digestion slows after sunset too. The stomach empties more slowly and gut movement decreases. So carbs eaten at dinner may not hit your bloodstream right away. They can raise glucose hours later, sometimes in the middle of the night. This is why people often go to bed with decent numbers and still wake up higher than expected. Section 1B, long. Why nighttime habits create morning high readings. Another major factor is movement. During the day, even light activity helps your muscles take up glucose without needing much insulin. Walking, standing, taking stairs, doing chores. These all help clear sugar from the bloodstream. At night, most people stop moving completely. That glucose-clearing pathway shuts down, so the body becomes more dependent on insulin. But insulin sensitivity is already lower at night, which is a perfect setup for higher readings. Sleep quality affects this even more. Poor sleep, short sleep, late bedtime, or frequent waking increases insulin resistance the next day. Even one bad night can cause higher fasting glucose and worse post-meal spikes. And late-night eating makes this worse because digestion and glucose absorption continue while your body is trying to enter deep sleep. This can disrupt sleep hormones, increase stress hormones, and create a loop where sleep gets worse and blood sugar gets harder to control. This is also why the same healthy food can behave differently at night. A meal that seems balanced in the afternoon may cause a higher spike in the evening because digestion is slower, insulin sensitivity is lower, and you're not moving afterward. Many people blame themselves, but the real issue is timing and physiology. Nighttime blood sugar matters because it often determines morning blood sugar more than breakfast does. If you go to bed with glucose rising, or if your liver is dumping glucose overnight, you wake up higher. That leads to frustration, and many people respond by eating less the next day or skipping meals, which can backfire and increase stress hormones again. The key point is this: controlling blood sugar at night requires a different strategy than controlling it during the day. You want foods that digest slowly, reduce insulin demand, support stable glucose through the night, and don't trigger delayed spikes while you're sleeping. In the next section, we'll break down the exact qualities the number one nighttime food must have to lower blood sugar instead of raising it, and why a lot of common evening safe foods quietly make night glucose worse. Not all foods behave the same way at night. In fact, many foods that are considered healthy during the day can quietly worsen blood sugar overnight. Nighttime metabolism is built for rest, repair, and energy conservation, not rapid glucose disposal. So if you want a food that actually lowers blood sugar at night, it must match nighttime physiology. The first requirement is slow digestion. At night, you want food that releases glucose gradually, if at all. Fast digesting carbs cause immediate spikes, but even moderate carbs can cause delayed spikes hours later when digestion catches up. A nighttime food must slow gastric emptying and delay glucose absorption, so your blood sugar stays stable rather than climbing while you sleep. The second requirement is low insulin demand. Insulin sensitivity is reduced at night, so foods that require big insulin responses are more likely to produce prolonged elevations. A good nighttime food should minimize insulin release and help keep the blood sugar curve smooth. The goal isn't to chase a perfect number, it's to avoid sharp rises and sharp drops that trigger stress hormones. The third requirement is liver support. Overnight, the liver becomes the main regulator of blood sugar. If the liver releases too much glucose, blood sugar rises even without food. A nighttime food should help calm excessive liver glucose output and reduce the signals that trigger glucose dumping. The fourth requirement is inflammation control. Inflammation interferes with insulin signaling and worsens overnight glucose regulation. Foods that increase inflammatory stress, even subtly, can make nighttime blood sugar harder to manage. A food that lowers blood sugar at night should reduce oxidative stress and support stable metabolic signaling. Finally, the food must protect sleep quality. Poor sleep increases insulin resistance and raises cortisol the next day. Foods that cause reflux, bloating, or blood sugar swings can fragment sleep and worsen glucose control indirectly. A true nighttime food should help you feel calm and steady, not wired or hungry again. Many people assume that eating fruit, yogurt, cereal, or whole grains at night is a safe choice. These foods can be fine earlier in the day, but at night they often fail the rules we just covered. Fruit contains natural sugars that digest quickly, especially when eaten alone. That can cause a spike and then a second delayed rise later as digestion continues. Whole grains are another common trap. They digest slower than white bread, but they still release a significant amount of glucose over time. The problem is timing. At night, that slow release can keep blood sugar elevated for hours, and the peak may occur while you're asleep. That's why some people go to bed with normal readings and still wake up high. Yogurt can also be misleading. Many yogurts contain hidden sugar, and even unsweetened versions still contain lactose, which can raise glucose. If the yogurt is low fat, digestion is faster, which increases the glucose rise. And if people add granola, honey, or fruit, the snack becomes a delayed spike waiting to happen. Protein-only snacks can backfire too. Protein doesn't spike blood sugar immediately, but excess protein can be converted into glucose through gluconeogenesis. At night when insulin sensitivity is low, this gradual conversion can lead to a slow rise over several hours, again, while you're sleeping. Low-fat, light snacks are another problem. Without fat, digestion speeds up and glucose enters the bloodstream faster. Healthy fats slow absorption and stabilize the glucose curve, which is especially important at night. This is why simply eating less at night often doesn't solve morning highs. It's not only about calories, it's about digestion speed, insulin demand, liver signaling, inflammation, and sleep. The right nighttime food works with these systems instead of against them. In the next section, we'll reveal the #1 food that best matches nighttime physiology, and we'll explain exactly how to use it so it lowers blood sugar through the night rather than raising it. The single best food for lowering blood sugar at night is Greek yogurt, specifically plain, unsweetened, full-fat Greek yogurt. This may surprise a lot of people because yogurt is often lumped in with foods that raise blood sugar. But the type of yogurt, the fat content, and the timing make all the difference. Greek yogurt works at night because it meets every requirement we discussed earlier. It digests slowly, requires relatively little insulin, supports liver stability, and does not disrupt sleep when used correctly. Unlike many nighttime snacks, it does not cause rapid spikes or delayed glucose surges hours later. One of the main reasons Greek yogurt works is its high protein content, especially casein protein. Casein digests very slowly, releasing amino acids gradually over several hours. This slow digestion helps stabilize blood sugar by preventing hunger signals and reducing the likelihood of nighttime glucose swings. Greek yogurt is also naturally low in carbohydrates compared to regular yogurt. During the straining process, much of the lactose is removed, which lowers the overall glucose impact. This makes Greek yogurt far more suitable for nighttime blood sugar control than standard yogurt. The fat content is critical. Full-fat Greek yogurt digests much more slowly than low-fat or fat-free versions. Fat slows gastric emptying, meaning any glucose that does enter the bloodstream does so gradually. This helps keep blood sugar stable through the night instead of rising while you sleep. Another key benefit is that Greek yogurt helps reduce overnight liver glucose output. Stable protein intake signals the body that energy is available, which can reduce the liver's need to release stored glucose. This can help prevent early morning blood sugar rises. Greek yogurt also supports blood sugar control by preventing stress-driven glucose release. When blood sugar drops too low at night, the body releases cortisol and adrenaline to raise it again. These hormones not only increase glucose output from the liver, but also worsen insulin resistance the next day. Greek yogurt helps prevent these drops by providing a steady supply of nutrients through the night. Calcium and probiotics in Greek yogurt may also play a role. Calcium is involved in insulin signaling, and gut health influences glucose metabolism more than most people realize. A healthier gut environment can improve insulin sensitivity and reduce inflammatory signals that interfere with glucose control. Another reason Greek yogurt works so well at night is that it is sleep-friendly. It does not cause reflux, does not overstimulate digestion, and does not trigger rapid glucose swings that can disrupt deep sleep. Better sleep leads to better insulin sensitivity the next day, creating a positive feedback loop. It's important to emphasize that not all yogurt works. Sweetened yogurt, flavored yogurt, fruit on the bottom yogurt, and low-fat yogurt often raise blood sugar at night instead of lowering it. Added sugars, faster digestion, and higher lactose content all work against nighttime glucose stability. Greek yogurt works best when eaten alone or with a very small addition that does not raise blood sugar, such as a few crushed nuts or a pinch of cinnamon. Adding honey, granola, or fruit can turn a stabilizing food into a delayed spike. Portion size still matters. A moderate serving is enough to stabilize blood sugar without creating excess glucose load. The goal is stability, not fullness. When used correctly, Greek yogurt becomes a powerful nighttime tool. It supports steady glucose levels, reduces insulin stress, calms liver glucose release, and helps protect sleep quality. That combination is why it stands out as the single best food for lowering blood sugar at night. Greek yogurt also helps with late-night cravings because it provides satiety without the rapid glucose rise that comes from carbohydrates. Many people snack at night because their dinner digested too quickly or lacked enough protein. That hunger leads to bread, cereal, or sweets, which raise blood sugar while you sleep. Using Greek yogurt as the planned nighttime option reduces impulsive snacking and keeps glucose more stable. The key is to keep it unsweetened. Choose full fat and treat it as a steady metabolic support, not a dessert. In the next section, we'll go over exactly how and when to eat this food, including timing, portion size, and common mistakes that can prevent it from working. Even the right food can fail if it's used incorrectly. When it comes to lowering blood sugar at night, timing, portion size, and consistency matter just as much as the food itself. Greek yogurt works best when it's used deliberately as part of a nighttime routine, not eaten randomly or treated like a casual snack. The ideal timing for Greek yogurt is about 1 to 2 hours before bed. This window allows digestion to begin while you are still awake, but ensures nutrients are released slowly during sleep. Eating it too early can allow hunger to return later in the night, while eating it immediately before lying down can interfere with digestion or sleep quality in some people. Portion size should be moderate and consistent. The goal is not to feel overly full, but to provide enough protein and fat to stabilize blood sugar through the night. Too large a portion can increase insulin demand or delay digestion excessively. Too small a portion may not prevent nighttime drops that trigger cortisol and adrenaline release. Greek yogurt works best when eaten plain and unsweetened. A small pinch of cinnamon or a few crushed nuts can be added without raising blood sugar, but adding fruit, honey, granola, or sweeteners changes how the food digests. Those additions introduce carbohydrates that are often absorbed later in the night, leading to delayed blood sugar rises during sleep. Consistency is critical. Using Greek yogurt occasionally will not reliably change nighttime glucose patterns. The benefit comes from repeated use, allowing the body to adapt to steadier overnight nutrient delivery. Over time, this can reduce morning spikes and improve fasting blood sugar trends, making daily control feel more predictable. Hydration also plays a role. Mild dehydration can concentrate glucose in the bloodstream and worsen overnight readings. Drinking water earlier in the evening supports better overnight glucose regulation, as long as it does not disrupt sleep with frequent bathroom trips. One of the most common mistakes people make is choosing the wrong type of yogurt. Flavored yogurts, fruit on the bottom yogurts, and low-fat yogurts often contain added sugars or higher lactose levels. These versions digest faster and raise blood sugar instead of lowering it. Only plain, unsweetened, full-fat Greek yogurt provides a slow digestion and low insulin demand needed at night. Another mistake is treating Greek yogurt like a dessert. Sweet toppings turn a stabilizing food into a delayed glucose spike. At night, simplicity matters more than variety. The fewer ingredients involved, the more predictable the blood sugar response will be. Eating too late is another issue. Lying down immediately after eating can slow digestion excessively and increase the risk of reflux or discomfort. Poor sleep quality raises insulin resistance the next day, undoing the benefits of better nighttime glucose control. Allowing at least an hour between eating and sleep helps avoid this problem. Some people also skip dinner and rely on a late snack. Greek yogurt is not meant to replace a balanced evening meal. It works best as a stabilizer after dinner, not as the sole source of evening nutrition. An unbalanced dinner can still cause overnight glucose problems even if the snack is correct. Expecting instant results is another trap. Nighttime blood sugar improvement usually happens gradually. Some people notice better morning readings within days, while others see changes over several weeks. What matters is the overall trend, not a single number on one morning. When used correctly and consistently, Greek yogurt becomes a reliable nighttime tool. It supports slow digestion, reduces stress-driven glucose release, protects sleep quality, and helps prevent delayed blood sugar spikes while you're asleep. Small nighttime changes often create the biggest improvements in morning blood sugar. Lowering blood sugar at night doesn't require extreme restriction or skipping meals. It requires understanding how your body works after dark and choosing foods that support stability instead of fighting your physiology. When used correctly, the right nighttime food can reduce overnight glucose rises, lower insulin stress, and help improve morning blood sugar readings. The key is consistency, simplicity, and timing. Nighttime blood sugar control is less about perfection and more about avoiding delayed spikes and stress hormone responses while you sleep. Small changes made consistently at night often have a bigger impact than aggressive changes during the day. As always, monitor your own blood sugar and pay attention to how your body responds. Everyone is different, and what matters most is long-term stability, not one perfect number. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing for more science-based diabetes education and practical strategies to manage blood sugar naturally. And be sure to talk with your healthcare provider before making major dietary changes. Take care of your health, stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next video.